Hi, I'm Mrs. Melanin.
And I'm Beleaf Mel.
And we're here with episode 16 of How Married Are You?
Okay, story time with the
Don't
chocolate
we usually
babies.
do words of affirmation first? Let's jump right into words of affirmation.
All right.
Take it away, Donald. I stole your words. Sorry, go ahead.
So this is the problem. We don't have any words of affirmation. You guys aren't sending the voicemails. So what I want to do is change it up, because since you guys don't have anything nice to say, I want to switch it over to just tell us how married you are.
Or even just say something. Like, we realize that there's no place for you guys to leave comments to the episodes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not like they're listening to it and then they type something down below. So give us feedback. What did you think about the latest episode? Holla back.
Besides the fact that Yvette should not have recorded while being sick.
I said that to Glen after or before or during. I don't know. Yeah. I know I shouldn't have. I apologize.
But it's really Donald's fault because he didn't take any of the sneezes and snorts out. But that's for another time. Let's go ahead and hop into the
Chocolate Baby story time.
Chocolate Baby story time. Okay.
Actually, it's really not a story. I'm just really excited because today is day 3 of Anaya off the boob, y'all. Off the boob. I'm getting my body back. You know what I did today? I bought yogurt and granola.
Oh, because you can
I'm
eat
going to
meat
have yogurt and
now.
granola for breakfast tomorrow.
That's awesome.
I'm a little bit nervous, though. I feel like her diet restrictions
We're good for you.
were good for my weight loss.
Yeah. Yeah, so Anaya is saying so many words. She's having like 4 conversations, and she's repeating everything. You can tell her, hey, where's your nose? She points to her nose. Where's your eyes? She points to her eyes. Actually, she gets eyes and ears confused. But if you ask her to point to her elbow, she points to her elbow. You ask her to point to her butt, she points to her butt. She is growing so fast, and I just really want to document time with her in a way that is creative and just kind of shows her, just her progression. She's becoming this little woman. Every single time she puts a dress on or a shirt or a sock on, she's like, Papa. She's like, look at me and tell me I'm cute, and it's just the most adorable thing ever. And I'm really excited for her progression. And that's all it. That is the sweetness of this time. But let's go ahead and hop into this episode. What are we doing right now? What are we about to do?
All right. So, have y'all heard of that show on Facebook Watch called Red Table Talk with Jadapinkettsmith and her mom and her daughter? Well, they welcomed Will Smith onto the episode this week, and we are going to watch it
and react
to it.
I don't know if we're going to do it in real time.
Okay.
But maybe we should do a final thought, because this is only part 1.
Yeah, I know.
And so since it's only part 1, we don't really know what's going to happen or what they're going to talk about. And so maybe we should wait before we give all our thoughts. But I do think it's going to be entertaining and interesting. And so let's just watch it and see what happens.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll be right back. And here is some tunes for you to listen to while we listen to this.
Hey, Red Table Talk fam. We are back at the table.
Very happy to be here.
We're happy to have you here, Will. What are we going to talk about today?
Love. I wasn't with the person I was supposed to be with. So you're going to make somebody stay with you who doesn't love you.
You have to get married. So let's talk about the wedding. Because of this title, wife is a very difficult...
The accepted conventional
definition of wife.
Right.
The paradigm. In the paradigm, I'm not that. How could you be so unhappy? I used to think I was crazy.
Okay, so we just watched the first episode of Becoming Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Red Table Talk, Part 1. And who do you think you are versus me? Like, who do you think I am? Who do you think you are? Am I Jada? Are you
Okay,
Will?
so here's the thing. Like, initially in the first half of the show, I was like, man, I feel like I'm more Will, like kind of silly and oblivious to real life. And you're more Jada. Like when she was talking about how she didn't want a wedding. Not so much how she didn't want to get married or whatever, but
just kind of anti.
Just anti. Yeah, and then she bought a farm in Baltimore. You're from Baltimore. Like, hello, what?
And I would totally buy a farm.
Is she from Baltimore?
I think so.
Yeah, and you want to own a farm. Like, that was one of the things you used to talk about, is owning a farm, living on a farm. And so, I don't know. I just felt like I related to Will more, and I felt like I saw a lot of you in Jada. But then, as the conversation progressed, I feel like, well, I don't know. You talk.
Yeah. I'd like to know. I mean, okay, go ahead. Just say what you're going to say.
Because I feel like as the conversation progressed, I felt like I was listening to Will talk about, like, his work and whatever.
And success.
And how he was doing, like a lot of stuff, where he started talking about how, like, he was doing it for Jada, or she was, like, a huge motivation. Like, he knew success would come from, like, being married. What was it exactly that he said? I don't remember.
He said he knew that those two, he recognized that when a union will be successful with him. And he knew that her and him together could make something powerful.
Well, he said that he saw there was an actual statistic out there that said that all successful men were married.
The most successful men.
The most successful
in history
men
were married men.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so
he knew that he wanted to be married. So maybe he was thinking of marriage even selfishly as like I want to be successful, and these are one of the ingredients for success. So the recipe for success would be I have to get married. I definitely feel like I am more, I definitely identify with Will right now, just in this season. Very, like, being very, like, involved in work and thinking about success. And then a lot of the reasons I make the moves I make, I always say it's for you. And he mentioned that he built a house with a lake, and he called it her lake. And he was naming it for Jada and giving it to Jada, and it was a gift for her. But she was like, yo, that house was for you. Now, I feel like either I'm totally lost and I'm oblivious, but, like, I really do feel like a lot of the moves and the things I do right now are for the future of our family, for you. And I think we have, like, a disconnect where you think about the day-to-day. You're thinking about tomorrow, tonight, the moment, at this moment. And I'm thinking about 1 year from now, 6 months from now, you know, our next house, 12 years from now, 30 years from now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm thinking about long-term stuff, and you're thinking about short-term stuff. And I think that is where we clash. I think, though, that's the root of all of our issues. Because this week was difficult, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna, like, sit here in front. We had, I think, one of the biggest arguments we've ever had.
This week?
Yeah.
Are you talking about Saturday?
Yeah.
Really? That was one of the biggest?
Meanest.
Was it mean? I don't feel like I was mean.
I told you that you were emotional. And I told you were being emotional, which was rude. You told me, okay, sorry. You want me to stop?
No, I'm just saying, like.
What else, was that one of the meanest things I said? What was the meanest thing I said?
On Saturday?
The meanest jab.
I don't know. I really don't know. I feel like it is kind of lame of you to say that I'm emotional. But whatever.
Can I say the meanest thing you said to me?
What was the meanest thing I said to you?
You said that I'm like your fourth child.
Damn, I did say that.
You said that I'm like having a fourth child.
But do you understand why I said that?
I understand why you said that.
So was it was it mean or was it true?
I think to compare your husband to a child is overall childish. Plug to the childish merch on the way. It's very childish,
Oh my
regardless of how
gosh.
he's acting. Like, I think there may be like, dude, get your life together. We need to, but to say I'm like having a fourth child is like, are you? I laughed and I just kept replaying that. And I'm the whole time I walk around the house like, can a child do this? Can a child do this? I'm winning the argument in my head because I'm like, how dare you say that I'm like a fourth child? Even though I know that I was supposed to do things that I didn't do, and you had to remind me and tell me when to get ready, tell me when to get in the shower, all that stuff. And I was late. But to tell me that I'm the child was just like, you know.
But you understand.
Yeah, but it was very like, oh,
That was the only way I knew how to describe it. It's like I already have to take care of these 3 children.
Mm-hmm.
And so to add elements of care for my husband that are very similar,
Mm-hmm.
it was just much. But sorry. I am sorry for comparing you to a child. I am sorry. Yeah.
And I'm sorry for not being ready.
Thanks.
Yeah.
All that was for what? What's happening?
I'm saying that I wasn't ready because I was working.
Yeah.
And I think about work.
All the time.
Yeah. I'm living a fantasy.
Hmm?
I'm literally living my dream.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you know how like when you're a kid and you have an imagination, but you're getting to the point where you need to start focusing on school and stuff, and people say like, stop daydreaming, get your head out of the clouds, like get focused, you're about to enter the real world.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like sometimes when I'm dreaming and I'm thinking, I'm like, I gotta get my head out the clouds. But then I realize that my dreams and the stuff I'm thinking about
Are in the clouds?
are in my reality, and I'm allowed to think like this.
Oh.
And so I'm like, wait a minute, I can actually think like this and get paid for it. And that is a dream.
Mm-hmm.
And so when someone like tells me to take my head out of the clouds or that I'm dreaming or whatever, like, I'm like, no. Like, I get, I'm allowed to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the visions and the dreams that have kind of escaped and trickled away. I'm like, hey guys, come back. You're safe. And so I'm always thinking about work, and we call it work, but I don't think of it as work. I just think of it as like, it's like really fun to like, yo, I really get to live out my dreams and make things that will better the world and put us in a better position and change not only our lives, but like not only our our immediate family, but like the communities around us, our cousins, our aunties. Like we get to like, if this thing works out, like we could really help out a lot of people, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's when I start to think about.
And the crazy thing is, like, that's all I've ever wanted for you. I have, like, since we've been married, it's like, I just want him to do what he loves and, like, just be happy. I want him to want to talk about his work. Like, that's all I want.
And so now that you got what you want, you don't want it.
No, it's not that I don't want it. I still, like, want that for you. And I appreciate that you have that. I just think that it doesn't need to be so all-consuming. And it can be, like we said on Saturday, it needs to be more scheduled. Like it just has to be more scheduled. Because there needs to be a time where you turn it on and turn it off. But I know for you, like, your wheels are probably always turning, but I don't know. We as your family need to know that. And I hate to say this because I feel like you do a good job at giving us your undivided attention, but I do feel like there are periods of time where we just miss you. Like, I was noticing, was it today that we were all just, we just all invaded the garage? It was yesterday.
It was last night.
Yeah, me and the kids just came out because we just wanted to be in your presence. And
I was so annoyed.
I know. You handled it so well, though. But I noticed I was the first one to come. I was like, I'm just going to go sit. And you looked at me like, what you want? You turned around over your
I kept looking around like.
You're like, what's going on? What's up? And I just want to sit there. I just like being. Even if we're not talking, I just like knowing you're right there. And then slowly but surely, here comes Theo. Here comes Raya. Here comes Anaya.
Another thing about the show, the Red Table Talk, that was cool was that, well, it was interesting, is that Jada like admitted that she didn't want to be pregnant, she didn't want to get married, and she was living this life, and she was living this life with Will that was kind of like, I don't want to do this, you know, and she was miserable. And one of the things that you said during the argument,
I said, you do miserable better than I do.
Yeah. And so it just was like this kind of thing. It's like, I'm like, dang, you miserable though? Like, okay, you're miserable. And then Jada said, do I have the right to be ungrateful? Like, I'm ungrateful. And I'm like,
that's when I was like, oh wait, I relate to her.
Yeah. Cause I'm like, I know it's hard, but it hasn't been that long. You know what I'm saying? Like, we still got, you know, our youngest child is 5. Our oldest child is 5. Like, you know, so we have a long time to go. But I'm like, I know this is not going to be our position forever. Like, I'm just talking about there's a season for everything. We had a season of me being uninspired. We had a season of us being super broke. We have a season of me having no plan. And so I don't think you can, like, I don't know. I was like, man, could you be married to you?
Could I be married to me? Mm-hmm. Is it hard?
No, but like, you challenge me.
Could I be married to me?
You challenge me, and I adjust based on what you've challenged. When I challenge you, you don't
adjust.
You don't. You feel appalled. You feel insulted. So when I ask you, like, yo, what's your 5-year plan? You're like, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, I get to be unorganized. For, you know.
I'm like, wait, how long did you get to not have a plan? How long do I get? I should get some time to get my life together.
You got 3 months. I had 3 months.
No. Huh?
I had 3 months when you asked me to when
I mean, from when I asked you.
Yeah.
But how long were we together before you even started thinking about your plan?
But I wasn't asked.
Okay.
I wasn't asked.
I will say, though, that since you asked me that, I was very frustrated by the question. I was like, I just don't understand. Like, what am I supposed to, like, I'm a mom. So that's my plan, is to get our kids through school and out the house. Like, what? But I feel like I mentioned this the other day on an IG post, but I feel like I am getting lost. I feel like before, a lot of my identity was found in, like, being a teacher and being the ASB director or the Black Student Union advisor or whatever. And now it's kind of like, and in addition to that, I was also a mom and a wife, a sister and a friend, a daughter. But now I just feel like, I don't know, I'm a mom. I keep kids alive all day.
And I know for me, like, you're more than a mom, you know? But like, a mom is like the most important. I think about your mom. And so I just got off the phone with Timothy, and he was saying how when he walked through the door at our Halloween party this weekend, and she saw Timothy. Last year he went for the first time. It was his first time seeing any event like this since being out of prison, and he saw your mom this year, and she lit up. And I know how it feels to be celebrated, and I know what it's like to be around your mom. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, you are literally like the glue in our community. You know, you have a lot of things that people see you as, and it's not just, oh yeah, you're Theo's mother, you're Anaya's mom. Like, no one thinks of you like that. Everyone's like, yo, this is Yvette. She's great at planning parties, or she is the person that we look at when we need help with this issue, or, you know, style or hair or whatever. Like, it's a lot of things that people like think about you as, and I just don't think you like, you could say it and like you could feel it for sure, but I don't think it's true. You know what I mean?
I will say, since you asked me the question, I've been thinking about, like, in the next 5 years, what do I want to see? And there are some things that came to mind, and I was like, oh, cool. I do have, like, desires and hopes still. And so that's really nice to know about myself, because I hadn't thought in that way, like, what do I want? Or where do I want to be in the next 5 years? So thank you for asking me that question.
And I was really saying, like, yo, like, you ask me what my 5-year plan is, I tell you, I do it, and you're not cool with what I'm doing. So if you don't have a plan, I don't know what you're working toward. You know what I'm saying? So if you have a plan and you tell me your plan, I'm like, cool. Like, I see where you want to go. I see where I want to go. And we're going to be in the same place together. So how do we merge these two ideals? And it helps me, like, speak into, like, so if you're like, yo, in 5 years, I want to be leading worship for the high school group at the church. Like, I know you wouldn't say that, but if you did,
like,
I'll be like, okay, cool. Well, you might want to start getting piano lessons at this point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this is why we started How Married Are You podcast, right? In whatever time you were like, yo, I really want to plan events on a bigger scale. I want to do stuff that, like, gets married couples together and strengthens women, empowers women. And I'm like, okay, cool. What does that mean? And so we thought about what that means. And what that means for us is that at this point in life, we need to start building a community of young married couples or people who want to be married eventually, so that they can, so we can just expose ourselves to them in a way that it strengthens and empowers them, and that they would see value in what we're doing. And so that's why this podcast was started, because of your idea and your plan. And so I have to just be honest and admit that I am, like, really loving my life right now in a way that is, like, I'm very grateful. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love the season I'm in. I'm loving what I'm able to do. I'm loving what I'm able to see manifest from what I do. I'm glad that I'm not rich. I'm glad that I'm not poor. I'm just glad that I'm right in the middle. And this is the, like, I feel like I'm climbing up the mountain, but I got a real good grip. You know what I'm saying? And I got enough water to make it to the top. And I'm just really excited. Like, I'm really, like, in love with this season of life.
I like how you're saying that. That's, like, every wife's dream, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a wife. I don't have any tissue in here.
You should have tissue in here.
It's a man cave.
I love that you're saying that.
Like, you gotta understand, too, it's like, at one point in life, it was like, yeah, music is gonna pop off, and then Yvette's gonna be able to stay home. Like, that was the plan. And I knew in the back of my mind, like, man, that ain't never gonna happen. Like, my wife I have to make our monthly income plus more for my wife to come home. How am I gonna make almost, $4,000 or $5,000 a month? How am I gonna do that? Like, how am I going to do that? Like, that's impossible. When you're getting paid $500 a show, or, and that's the split, $250 each. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm like, how many of these shows I got to do a month? But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and so now it's like, yo, my wife is not working, but she's working at home, but she doesn't have to clock in. I feel like a boss.
But she doesn't get to clock out either.
Yeah. That's your choice. That's what you said you wanted. But, like, eventually it's like, these problems we have where you're saying, like, yo, I need this time off, I need this and this and this. This changes in a few months. This whole thing changes to where it's like, yo, we'll be able to afford a nanny. You know what I'm saying? And so you could take a few days off a week or whatever.
A few days. No, yeah.
And for me, I'm just like, yo, I know you can't see it, but I'm like, yo, we're almost there. Like,
and the thing is, it's not that I can't see it. I do see it. I just struggle with the lack of patience. That's always been I struggle with lack of patience, and I struggle with comfort. I like to be comfortable, and so in a period of time when it's uncomfortable, it just doesn't rub me the right way. And so I think that's my issue right now. And so that's something that I have to deal with in and of myself. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just really excited to hear you say that about your life, because as I said, you do miserable better than I do, and you were miserable for a long time.
I was.
And so
I was miserable, but sometimes when you say you're miserable, I'm like,
I have never said I was miserable. I just said you do miserable better than I do.
you imply.
I implied it with my words, but I wasn't necessarily suggesting that I was miserable. That was not my intention. What I was trying to say is that I'm not in a good space.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm on the miserables, like on a scale of great to miserable. I don't think I'm all the way over to miserable. I'm just at uncomfortable.
Yeah. And that is where I live.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm always uncomfortable, but I'm okay. Like, I'd rather be uncomfortable and have a plan and have a goal, and I live in uncomfort. Just so you know. Discomfort, sorry. I tried to put that, I tried to type that out the other day. It was like, uncomforts. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense.
It's
What's the word? Siri, or the phone was like, nah, bro. Nah, red lines. Discomfort. Like, I live in discomfort, and I like it. Like, this is like weird.
You like it?
I do. I like it because I'm like, I don't got it all figured out, but I'm also not an idiot. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know how to find the answers to my problems, and it's really, really hard. Like, it's all hard. Like even this, like, one thing that Will and Jada said, Will was trying to keep up a facade, basically, of how his family looked. Mm-hmm. Not really, I don't know if it was like on purpose, but he was killing it outside the house, and his life was not looking like it inside.
He said Jada was waking up every morning 45 days straight crying,
you know. And I'm like, I don't think I want to keep up a facade at all. Mm-hmm. But I can imagine you being like what I define as miserable. Like, I can imagine like this season just being like, ugh. You know what I'm saying? And then I look at some other people, I'm like, man, it's not as bad as I think, as she thinks it is. But I'm not, I know I shouldn't have to, like, it shouldn't be bad at all. But I'm like, yo, I can't do all of this by myself. Like, in some of the stuff I have to do by myself. And so for this season, until I could get people to be like, yo, I die for this. Because that's how I'm feeling. Like, or at least I'll take a stab, or I'll stub my toe for this. I'm going to be doing this by myself. Mm-hmm. And so I just need a little bit of time. But I don't want to lose you in the process. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to lose our friendship and what we have, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, yo, I need you to be a superhero, and that sucks. Like, I really need you to be that, because, you know. It's
funny that we were the Incredibles for the costume party, because I was Elastigirl, and I feel like I'm being stretched.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like I got the weight of the world on my shoulders.
Yeah.
I feel like Mr. Incredible. I feel like everything is being held up by me, and everybody's mad at me.
Yeah.
The world is mad at me. All my relationship, all my friendships were rocky. You know what I'm saying? All my family relationships are rocky.
You think all your friendships are rocky?
A lot of them.
I don't know if that's accurate.
Personal. Well, I mean, you know, besides like the ones I haven't talked to in a while. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're rocky. I don't really want to be that successful that I don't have anybody to share it with, for sure, though. You know.
I ain't going nowhere. I'm not.
So, babe, how married are you?
I don't know if we want to keep bringing up old stuff, but I typed it out. I am so married that I know it's not going to make me any more on time if I freak out on Glen about getting in the shower 10 minutes before I said I wanted to leave the house.
You're really not good at this. What is it?
What? I thought that was a good one. I said, I am so married that I know it's not going to make me any more on time if I freak out on Glen about getting in the shower 10 minutes before I said I wanted to leave the house.
I don't understand. Well, good for you.
I'm so married that I've prevented an argument. I kept the peace.
But we argued.
That was your fault.
No.
We didn't argue on the way to the event. We argued the day after.
I know, but you were like, I ain't going to say nothing. And I was like, no, what? And then you just said,
I just went,
but that's all right, because I don't want to argue. And I'm like, well, if don't
You're
hold it
the
in.
one that brought it up. And I was like, okay, well, here it is. I was going to let it go. Babe, how married are you?
I'm so married that I wore that costume that you picked out for me. I really wanted to be Frozone.
I couldn't find Frozone.
I know, but I was Mr. Incredible, and I looked stupid. And everybody at the party pulled out their camera. I looked so stupid.
You did not look stupid. We all looked cute in our matching.
It's all about the confidence. I definitely had confidence.
You did, and you rocked that outfit. Whatever.
All right.
And that's just how married we are.